Okay, let us examine the basic structure of DNA. DNA is a monomer polymer system, so it exists in small subunits that are attached to each other to form a longer and longer chain. And the basic unit of DNA is called a nucleotide. And a nucleotide has three main parts, which we'll be showing off with some basic geometric figures. It has what we call a phosphate group, attached to a sugar, which in the case of DNA, the sugar is called deoxyribose, and the sugar is attached to a base. And there are four possible bases that you could find in DNA. There's adenine, which we usually abbreviate with an A, guanine with a G, cytosine with a C, and thymine with a T. So every nucleotide of DNA is going to have a phosphate, a sugar, and then either an A, a G, a C, or a T. Then this is going to form longer units. So what you're going to see is that another phosphate is going to attach itself to the sugar, which is then going to be attached to another nucleotide. And the process will continue again and again and again for hundreds of thousands of nucleotides. Now each of these nucleotides is going to have a base attached. So for simplicity, let's say this is A and this is C and this is G. Now DNA doesn't just exist as one strand. It usually exists as two strands tied together. And so what we'll see is that there'll be a second strand, but it'll run in the opposite direction. So if we start here, the phosphate down here, attached to a sugar, attached to a base, and then we add another one, phosphate, sugar, and attached to a base. My ability to draw upside down is not nearly so good. Phosphate attached to a sugar, attached to a base. Okay? And so you have two strands and they run in opposite directions, and we give that a name. It's called being anti-parallel. And these two strands are attached by a hydrogen bond. So a hydrogen bond is going to form between the two bases at each pair of bases. Okay? Hydrogen bonds are not as strong as the covalent bonds that hold each strand, but together it's going to put the two strands and hold the two strands together in place. And what DNA scientists know is that the A always bonds with the T molecule. So if this is A over here, it's only going to form a bond properly with a T. And that the C always bonds with the G. So if this is a C base, then this is going to bond with a G base. If this bottom one is a G base, this is going to bond with a C. And so on and so on and so on. Okay? And this is going to be how a DNA molecule looks, except here I've drawn 6 nucleotides on 2 different strands, 3 each, but really this would be hundreds of thousands of nucleotides all attached together. And that's sort of a basic look at what the DNA molecule looks like.